Attention ASRM Today listeners, are you ready for the event of the year? Register now for the ASRM 2023 Scientific Congress and Expo, the premier conference for reproductive medicine happening in New Orleans, Louisiana, October the 14th through the 18th. Get ready to immerse yourself in cutting-edge scientific sessions, engaging workshops, and once-a-year networking opportunities. Discover the latest breakthrough in reproductive science, exchange ideas with industry leaders, and expand your clinical knowledge. With over 200 expert speakers and hundreds of exhibitors showcasing the latest advancements in reproductive technology, this is the event you cannot afford to miss. Mark your calendar and register now for ASRM 2023 New Orleans by visiting www.asrmcongress.org. On with the show.
Welcome to ASRM Today, a podcast that takes a deeper dive into the current topics in reproductive medicine.
I'm Jeffrey Hayes, and today on the show I'm talking with Dr. Maria Uloko. Dr. Uloko is a urologist who specializes in comprehensive sexual health and provides care for all genders from all over the spectrum. Doctor, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
So, I don't run into that many people who are in this field. So how did you get interested in sexual medicine?
Yeah, I would say a series of serendipity. As a urologist, obviously, we get part of our core training is sexual medicine. So we have to be able to have these hard conversations, these sometimes difficult conversations, and sometimes uncomfortable conversations with patients. And these are actually the conversations that I loved having. I think a lot of the things that we do in urology are amazing, but they also do cause side effects, and sexual side effects happen to be one of the big side effects of many of our procedures and treatments. But the beauty of urology is that we then can fix it. And so being on the other side of not only providing life-saving care, but then also being able to then provide quality of life was always something that I found so awesome and fascinating. And then, and as I was trying to find a fellowship to be able to specialize in this, I also wanted to see whether or not I could branch my scope of practice to include all genders. And so I did the only fellowship in the country that treats all genders and all sexes when it comes to sexual health. And, it's been one of the best decisions that I've ever made.
Now, you are a part of the faculty for the upcoming 2023 ASRM postgraduate course in New Orleans titled Sexual Health, Identification, Support, and Treatment. Can you tell listeners a little bit about how this session came about, or this postgraduate course, I should say, came about?
Yeah, I think it's one of the really great things that we're seeing. A lot of these professional societies are really hearing our patients and understanding that they also need sexual health care. It's not something that's really thought of as a core principle in traditional medical training. And I think that is such a disservice to the patients that we serve, because sex is really, to me, a marker of health. We know that penile health and cardiac health go hand in hand together. And I think if we think about this, it kind of from a grand scheme of things, the clitoris is the same organ as the penis. And so clitoral health is also, a significant marker of cardiovascular health. So, although we're not formally taught these things, I think we as a medical community need to start addressing these conversations as vital parts of people's healthcare plans. And especially as we're talking about reproduction, one of the means to reproduce is sex, and having a healthy sex life and feeling healthy within your sexuality is a really important thing. So we're going to cover a lot of those topics. And then my unique training stems in the female sexuality side too, on top of the male sexuality. So I get to encompass and bring that to the table in learning, which I'm really excited for.
How was the process of this? Would you say that it's been ongoing for more than a year?
I think I was just very lucky to get plugged into it. I think these conversations have been going on long before I I was brought into onto the table. Obviously, there have been advocates wanting to see things like this happen, and so through a series of conversations, I think this is how this came into fruition. And so I'm just really honored to be a part of it and to be able to lend any sort of education that I can and any tools and tips and tricks.
Well, fantastic. There is still time, folks, to register for ASRM 2023 to come participate in this postgraduate course, as well as many, many other things going on. For more information, you can go to www.asrmcongress.org. Thank you so much for taking time out to be on the show today.
Of course. Thank you.
And we will see you in New Orleans.
See you in New Orleans, my favorite city.
Absolutely. And until next time, I'm Jeffrey Hayes, and this is ASRM Today.
This concludes this episode of ASRM Today. For show notes, author information, and discussions, go to asrmtoday.org. This material is copyrighted by the American Society for Reproductive Medicine and may not be reproduced or used without express consent from ASRM. ASRM Today series podcasts are supported in part by the ASRM Corporate Member Council.
The information and opinions expressed in this podcast do not necessarily reflect those of ASRM and its affiliates. These are provided as a source of general information and are not a substitute for consultation with a physician.